Right, hello there. A really warm welcome to everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. The title, as you can see from your screen, is 2019, A Time to Transform. Speed is the New Normal. My name is Heather Thorpe, and I'm with juststyle.com, and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. Now, before we start, I just want to run through a couple of really quick housekeeping points for you. So today's webcast will be around 60 minutes. The speakers talking you through today's topic are Karsten Newbury, Mary McFadden and Clayton Parker. And here's just a little brief about each of these three speakers before I pass you through. So I'll start with Mary, and Mary is the Vice President of CAD Production Management and has been with Gerber Technology for over 30 years. She currently oversees the design and development of the AccuMark family of software products, and Mary holds 2 US patents, most notably for the AccuMark Silhouette. Also joining her on the panel today is Clayton Parker, and he is Gerber's Director of PLM Product Management. Clayton is responsible for the development direction of Gerber Technology's unique PLM cloud-based software. And in addition, he works closely with clients to enhance and drive value to the application. And our final speaker, or our first speaker, in fact, for today, Karsten Newbury. He is the Senior Vice President and General Manager of Software Solutions. Karsten's focus is on leveraging Gerber's heritage of innovation to drive the company's software portfolio and digital solution, working very closely with customers in the fashion, retail, and flexible materials industries to drive their competitiveness in the global marketplace. So enough from me. I will now pass you over to Karsten, who will start the presentation. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Heather. Welcome everybody, first of all, and thank you very much wherever you are for joining us today. The topic, as you have seen, is about speed and the fashion industry, and very exciting topic. Let me tell you a couple of things about Gerber before we get started. We really see our role as helping clothe the world. We help brands and manufacturers with garment manufacturing, design, production, but also things like interiors, furnitures, automotive, aerospace, anything that's flexible materials. And I can tell you from our perspective, it's a very exciting business to be in, to be working with all of you on transforming how the world is clothed. And as the headline of this webinar already states, besides the typical drivers of quality and cost, really the speed and building a consumer experience is what is increasingly driving this market. We have been in this business for the last 50 years, and I think the one thing we want to just share here is that just like you and our customers, innovation really and change is the only constant. We all have to keep moving. So what we want to share a bit today is our thoughts on how you can really build speed and agility into your processes, leveraging some of the technology we're working on. These are some examples. There are many kind of paths to success here, but hopefully we'll have a good discussion and dialogue at the end of the session as well about what else can be done. The trends, really, them all. It really starts with the consumer, and rather than just producing a garment at quality, at low cost, or at a target cost, it's about delivering an entire experience. So as consumers, we've gotten very used to personalized, on-demand type delivery of any kind of product, the connectivity from an information perspective, being more conscious about how products are produced and delivered from a sustainability perspective and the impact they have. So again, a lot of it is about consumer experience, and these changes, these trends are changing very quickly. So that's why this whole notion of agility and building that into your business is critical, and technology plays a key role with that. So if you look at the winners, so this is data from McKinsey in the marketplace, and use brands, manufacturers of garments, flexible materials, fashion. The question is, how can you win? If you look at the ones that do win today, that have the greatest economic success is one measure of winning. Really, the top 20 companies in the market produce all of the economic profit. You have the 21 to 80% that are still making some profits, but not nearly as much. And then the bottom companies are frankly the ones that are going out of business. And really, so the message here is that there are few that are really taking most of the benefits in this very dynamic environment. And so the question really is, well, what are these guys doing, and what do I need to do as a brand, as a designer, as a manufacturer, as a retailer to succeed in my business? And the one thing the top 20 have in common, in fact, it's two things, is speed and data analytics. And you can tell that, and again, this is based on McKinsey data, that these companies have built speed and agility in their processes, and they're using data to get closer to the consumer and also optimize their processes. And the whole aspect of personalization, if you think about it, really there is nothing more, or very few things, I would argue, that are more personal than wearing clothes and the experience you have around that. So let's dive a little bit deeper in this whole personalization from a data perspective. So it does matter, the way you respond in terms of fit, personalization of your offer to the consumers translates to hard data. Revenues typically increase, most of the time double digit. Companies grow faster that have personalized experiences. And as consumers, we also tend to spend more. If something's targeted to us, then we connect to it, and we respond to it, and we buy. And in the end, in our industry, more and more, it's not just the cost optimization that matters. It's really driving top line growth. And the only way, again, you can do it is by being agile and leveraging data. So this is really when we look at the market and the business from a holistic perspective, how it all needs to come together. And also McKinsey explained that, to really drive the speed and connectivity, you can go on to the next one. You have to really integrate your processes, and that's where technology and software, particularly data management, come to play. Many of our customers, and we have tens of thousands around the world in this industry, still have a very lengthy process from an idea. This is planning a product, to designing, developing it, sourcing, and then manufacturing it, getting it actually on the floor and into a store. Still takes about 42 weeks. If you look at the fastest providers here of the market leaders, and we can move on to the next one, please. They do this much more quickly. And how does this happen? Well, it really is breaking apart this traditional way of planning a product, producing it for inventory essentially, and then more or less hoping it will sell. So we've broken this down into really two workflows. If you look at the bottom, it's it really starts with the consumer workflow, giving the consumers the ability to personalize products. Often, increasingly, it's online stores or even in store, being able to make a purchase decision and then producing on demand. This is where technologies that are geared to on demand, selection of product, and then on-demand manufacture, not producing to inventory, but to demand, really are becoming very powerful. And Mary and the team will talk a little bit more about some of the digital print technology, 3D simulation technologies that make all of those things possible. And then to allow the consumer to personalize product, you have to have some options. So there needs to be a design and development process that feeds options into this process, configurable options of garments, different adjustments to fit and print and that type of thing. This is where some of the digital tools around PLM and, again, computer-aided design and the connection comes in. But there's this creation workflow. So digital technology helps accelerate just the creation of options, feeding, so to speak, into the library of what a consumer can order. And then you want to have this on-demand workflow that really, instead of producing to inventory and planning way ahead, allows you to be much more agile and really only produce what sells, so you can optimize your supply chain. So with that in mind, this is more of a new world of looking at things. We're going to jump into two main examples that are major components of this integrated platform. One is the product lifecycle management, really managing data across the whole flow, and then the other is looking more at the design development, 3D simulation, digital print technologies that are on the back-end on-demand creation side. And by tying these together, this is what we focus on to drive that innovation, which innovation really meaning agility, being able to respond quickly, building that consumer experience by allowing on-demand changes with fit and print, and not giving up on the value and the productivity in your supply chain. So let's explore, two main areas there. I'll hand it over to Clay, and then hopefully towards the end of the web session, we can have some Q&A and discuss this very fascinating topic in more detail. Clay?
Great. Thank you, Karsten. So this year we'll be making some major feature updates to our product lifecycle management software. Just recently, we released a whole new UI with our version 8 update. This makes accessing data easier, improving the overall efficiency while working within the software. It's something that we're very excited to be releasing out to the market and getting out into our customers' hands. We're also going to be expanding on our partner integrations, which allow our users to more seamlessly pass the data from the tools that they're using every day with our PLM software. So on the left, you'll see here some existing integrations that we're working with already today. And on the right are a bunch of new partner integrations that we're going to be actively working on delivering over the course of this year. So one of those I'd like to actually talk with you guys about is our partnership with NICE. This allows your designers to more seamlessly collaborate on digital assets by taking images that have been brought into the unique PLM software and then create virtual, very visual storyboards that they can lay out, arrange, and basically share with folks either internally or externally for collaboration purposes. So it's really taking that process of what was typically done in person today in the physical world and making it more of a virtual experience. The next partnership that I want to talk about is one that's actually available today with our version 8 release, and it's with TruFit. This allows consumers to actually make better purchases online based on fit preferences that they've made, thanks to data that's already being provided within companies' tech pack information. So as a product is being developed in unique PLM, that data can be seamlessly passed to TruFit and then provided to the end consumer when they're actually looking at that particular garment later on in the life cycle of the actual product during the purchasing phase.
Clay, one of the issues that we encounter here in our customers' supply chains is just the whole cost of managing, or by cost I mean time and monetary, of making physical samples, and the cost is also a loss of time and speed. Can you talk about some of the areas and how we might address that?
Yeah, well, one thing that unique PLM is really great at is being able to track and manage samples. And one thing that we're now making available to a much larger audience, and more specifically to our AccuMark user base, is our unique sample manager. So this is a solution that allows you to easily manage both physical and virtual samples. And again, the big key there being virtual samples and allowing this to be directly integrated with AccuMark and AccuMark 3D. While we might not eliminate all physical samples, some samples will have to be created, but maybe those first iterations of those proto samples could be done virtually thanks to AccuMark 3D, AccuMark, and our unique sample manager application. One of the other things that we're very excited about is over the last probably 18 months plus now, we've made a big shift to cloud for our product lifecycle management solutions. And we've really seen the adoption boom. It's tripled over the last year, and this has allowed us to really continuously deliver updates out to our customers based on their needs. So this is just as a looking back here, we've had about 7 updates and about 150 plus new features that have gone into the product thanks to input from our customers and this big transition to switching to the cloud. We're also really excited about this latest release, version 8, and here's just 2 quick quotes, one from Philson and one from Hatley, who were both early adopters of our new software.
And Clay, I mean, I think, in terms of speed, again, back to our headline here, can you talk a little bit about how cloud, just as one technology, has helped accelerate things for our customers and allowed them to be more agile?
Yeah, I mean, everything from just getting up and going with the software, which historically looking is for some organizations, they had to, purchase hardware and wait for that to be delivered and wait for IT to set that up, versus now having this up and running in minutes is absolutely incredible. Also, being able to directly access this anywhere in the globe is made it extremely, extremely useful. And again, just touching back on this idea of continuously delivering updates, we're very actively working with our customers, directly taking feedback from them, and every 6 to 8 weeks providing updates directly to the software to better fit their needs as their needs are changing within their organizations.
Thanks, Clay. The other thing, let's shift over to Mary, that we really have seen is a very strong interest in 3D technology in terms of being able to simulate garments virtually and then using that in many different ways. So, as kind of our second technology highlight, Mary, can you talk about some of the areas we're working on and how that might benefit folks? Mary, are you on mute?
I think we've lost the audio on Mary for a moment. She's back. We're good.
So we've been investing heavily in the area of 3D to advance our technology. And at Gerber, we believe that 3D really is a key driver in empowering our customers to be able to create their world-class products so that they can compete in this on-demand world. And a core part of our strategy is to provide an integrated 3D platform that can go from consumer and design all the way through development and production, and make personalization and speed accessible to our customers. To strengthen our team, most recently we acquired a startup out of San Francisco called Avometric, and they are the leading fabric simulation engine experts in the industry. And they also provide a virtual try-on technology. So with the addition of the Avometric team to the Gerber team, we really have the strongest 3D team available in our space. And this is really going to allow us to accelerate our 3D roadmap. So talking a little bit more about the consumer and on-demand workflow that Karsten was speaking to earlier, we have been focusing a lot of our development in the areas of personalization, and the shift we can see in the industry towards the on-demand workflow. We've had very strong personalization for the made-to-measure market in our solutions for decades. And we're going to continue to enhance that to expand in the digital print workflow. And in addition, we continue to integrate with our unique PLM solution, which helps our customers with their integrated workflow. So we've added quite a few features in our latest version, AccuMark version 12, that was recently launched to support these areas. So I can talk about some of these in a little more detail. When talking about personalization, CAD is really a crucial part of that workflow. AccuMark has a very unique solution to address digital printing. We've fully integrated the digital print workflow inside of AccuMark. And this makes it so our customers no longer have to manually create digital print files for individual sizes in drawing applications, because it can all be done automatically in AccuMark. And we've even added an automatic image replacement function that can be done in batch. So if you think of a team, like a basketball team of all the jerseys where each name and number is individual, this can all be done automatically for each size of each consumer that will get the final end garment. So this allows for scalability in this workflow. We also hear a lot in the press that the market has a desire for more inclusive sizing. And we've added easier ways to offer expanded size ranges within the system. This is beneficial for both personalization as well as supporting more inclusive sizing. Another exciting area and feature that we've added into AccuMark version 12 is the ability to monitor work in progress. So in AccuMark, you've got models that represents the styles that are in production. And now you can track what stage in development your data is in and your garments are in. So for example, you can filter all of the models in the system and you can see which patterns are in development, when the patterns are complete, if grading is being done, when it's ready for marker making, or marker is complete. So this is a very good way for you to track the work that's going through your departments. And then we mentioned before AccuMark and unique PLM integration. So this is a continued area of focus for us. It's very important that we provide an integrated digital solution for our customers so that our customers can have the most streamlined process that really eliminates errors. And so it's important to be able to leverage specific data between the systems automatically rather than having to rekey or import and export data, because that's where you can end up into trouble. So integrated solutions is key to really streamlined speed and productivity. So we can talk now a little bit more in the area of 3D. Virtual sampling continues to be a very exciting topic for us in this industry. And really to truly leverage 3D technology and enable to leverage 3D as a decision-making tool, you really need to be able to trust the results that you're seeing on the screen. So we continue to focus on improving both the speed as well as the render quality of the visuals that you generate from 3D. So in order to get really high quality, realistic images that you can use for virtual samples, we leverage optical properties. So in this example here, there are a series of image maps that are used that actually provide the high quality rendering that you see on the screen. And we're able to provide these results by partnering with companies like Visu and X-Rite. These companies create optical scanners that you can use to input the textures of the fabric to give that really good photorealistic quality. So in this next example, this is actually the image of the fabric in the 3D simulation. So you can see how realistic that texture looks in that wool. You can even see the individual fibers. So this is how we can provide that high level of fidelity to support the decision-making process during development. You can also share these high-quality images with your partners. So we have the ability to generate 360-degree views, and these images can be shared with your partners in a browser. So that's a very convenient method for sharing data. In version 12, we've also put in a real-time tug on fabric. So much like in real life, when you're putting a garment on your body, you sometimes want to tug on it to adjust the way it actually sits on your body. So this tool allows you to interact with the simulation in that way. And then looking forward, we're really excited about what's coming up in our next version, 12.1, which we'll be releasing this start of summer. For 12.1, we have moved the actual simulations into AccuMark PDF. Our customers can still leverage the capabilities of Blender, but now they'll be able to do the simulations directly inside of AccuMark PDF. And this gives a nice, consistent user experience because it's an environment that AccuMark PDF users are already familiar with and comfortable with. And it's a very efficient workflow. So then you'll be able to go ahead and make pattern changes and see them in the simulation in the PDF work area. So we're very excited about making this available to our customers worldwide.
Thanks, Mary, and also Clay. You know, this was a brief and very quick overview of some of the areas. I think the common theme here really is to drive speed and transformation in the whole, fashion business. You have to connect the various process steps. Product integration is a very important point. You want that to be seamless. Otherwise, if you have too many different tools, you'll get into upgrade challenges. Speed is very important, which is why we're serving up our tools in easier ways. Cloud is one of the mechanisms. You also here see an example of a test drive. So more and more, although we've been in the business of delivering automation for 50 years, we are also really changing the way we engage with all of you and our customers, making it easier to access our software via test drives, engaging with us on the online community, driving speed in our product updates and deliveries, allowing us to be much closer to our clients, because what all of us cannot afford is to waste time. And by adopting digital technology, we all can drive speed and be one of the top 20 leaders that we talked about earlier in this webinar. So with that, we definitely wanted to leave plenty of time here for Q&A. Hope you got a glimpse of what we are dealing with every day. We can open it up to questions now, Heather, and maybe later we can also talk a little bit about if folks want to follow up and contact us, how to find us.
Yes, absolutely. That's great. Thank you, all of you, for your insights today. So I do have some questions already, but I would urge anybody that's got anything they would like to ask to pop it through to us through the questions box, and I'll do my best to pop them to our speakers today. But I'll get you started. So I've got a couple here. So I'll start at the top. After validating the style, on the 3D model, how can we ensure that the pattern will be accurate to the 3D rendering? Don't know who wants to take this one.
So in AccuMark, you're actually using your production pattern data to do your 3D simulations, since AccuMark 3D is part of your AccuMark production tool. So you don't need to worry about getting patterns from other sources or importing or exporting. You're using your inline patterns.
Great, thanks, Mary. Okay, so I'll ask another one. Can we use some prints or fabrics from the PLM directly into the CAD? That's probably another one for you, Mary.
Yes, you certainly can. AccuMark can read directly from the PLM material database. So whether you're applying images into fabrics or so forth, you can read the entries in the PLM database directly.
So also includes the digital assets that maybe designers are creating and loading into the application. Those visual assets will then be available on the AccuMark side as well, thanks to both APIs on the CAD side and the PLM side. It's very cool.
Excellent, thanks for that. Okay, a slightly different one here. You mentioned using X-Write for providing material scans. Which Gerber modules accept the appearance capture format, AXF?
AccuMark 3D can use the X-Write files that are produced through scanning with the X-Write system.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. So if I want to mass produce models, can I also do that? Or is the software only for customized items?
Oh, absolutely. We have customers that produce millions and millions of units. So it is absolutely a system designed for high production, and also optionally has workflows and abilities to create customized garments as well.
Yeah, this is really where the heritage was of Gerber, and the initial innovation in terms of automating the entire chain was for high volume production. What we're seeing additionally, really not as a replacement, but additionally as a big factor, is this ability to produce design and produce fashion on demand. And increasingly that's going to be at high volume, but with potential units down to one, but you have to still produce at high volume. And for those that would like to see this in the near future, there are a few places. There will be a text process in May in Frankfurt, Germany, where we'll be displaying our microfactory and integrated workflow, but also, and microfactory really is not the right word, because it represents a much broader workflow than just production. And then maybe also for this audience, we'll be opening a very exciting innovation center in New York City in the July-August timeframe. And in that center, you'll be able to go from designing a garment, selecting it, to seeing that entire workflow with digital printing, production, sewing, where we will be able to show you how to make a custom consumer-oriented garment within just a few hours on demand. So really, this is a very exciting time where the technology is in a place that maybe not yet for all levels and complexities of garment, but for a good number of garments we can design and produce on demand, and it's going to change everything.
Thanks, Karsten. Great. Okay, can you tell me, when will Blender be merged into Gerber software?
So that's what we're doing now. That last video I showed, where we're running the simulations inside of AccuMark PDS, is eliminating the need to use Blender. So it will still be an option if a customer chooses to take a simulation and send it to Blender, but it will no longer be necessary.
Fabulous, thank you. Okay, once the fabric is printed, how can I transport it to the cutting solution?
You can inline place the printer right in line with a cutter, the Z1 cutter, and there is an accumulator which goes in the middle. So the accumulator will collect the printed fabric and then feed it to the cutting, the surface of the cutter.
Yeah, just to add to that, that's one of the patented or patent pending, I guess, or filed technologies where now with the print speeds and the cutter speeds, you can first obviously directly print to the fabric, but then directly feed that into the cutting process and have a very seamless approach, which drives that speed and agility. On the sewing side, we don't have seen that much progress yet in terms of robotic sewing, but it is being developed. But you can configure the sewing lines in a way and also specialize them that you can drive pretty high volume on-demand production. So again, these are some of the things we're working on in our labs, and we'll be showing in our innovation center here very shortly.
Sounds like there's a lot going on. It's really exciting. Okay, back to the questions. Can you import OBJ body scan files? Another one for Mary, I feel.
Yes, we certainly can import an OBJ. So you would take an OBJ from any scanning source, and then it can be imported directly into AccuMark 3D and used as an avatar for simulations. So this is a great way, for example, to capture the shape and posture of your fit models, and then ensure when you do 3D simulations that you're actually simulating your garments on an avatar that's representative of your fit model.
Fantastic.
Can you
Thanks,
talk a little
Mary.
bit about our, we also have this, our partnership, or have had for quite a while, with Alvinon in this area. Can maybe talk a little bit about that as well and how we can leverage that?
Oh, yes, certainly. Alvinon dress forms and corresponding digital avatars are so popular in our industry. We see Alvinon dress forms in factories all over the world. So we do have a partnership with Alvinon and are able to bring in either their standard offering or any custom avatars and dress forms they may create for specific brands. So they can be brought into AccuMark 3D as well.
Excellent. Well, that's good news. Okay. Do we have to print, or can we use another type of fabrics?
Oh, certainly. You can use any type of fabric. All of the traditional workflows have always been supported in AccuMark. So even apparel and non-apparel, even things like Kevlar. We have customers that do Kevlar and carbon composites, but certainly all traditional fabrics can be used in the AccuMark workflow, and there are functionality to support things like matching and shrink and stretch and all of the other fundamental properties that need to be accounted for traditional fabrics. All of the capabilities are there in the system to support in the production workflow.
That's great. Thanks for that, Mary. Okay. Can a design make comments on the 3D simulation?
Yes, you can add notes to a simulation and save the simulation with the notes and share those with partners. And then, as I mentioned before, you can also create a kind of a turntable view with multiple views that can be viewed in an HTML browser as well.
And lots of different options, and by the sounds of it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So when I make a pattern, can I quickly get an estimation of the cost? Can I design to cost?
Yeah, absolutely. We have costing capabilities within AccuMark as well. And some people cost by unit, by bundle, or by weight. For example, you can cost by weight when you're doing knits as well.
That's great. Thank you for that, Mary. Okay, we're coming to the end of our Q&A, I think, unless anybody else has anything burning to ask. I'm just checking. We've got a couple of questions coming in by the look of it. Maybe I can ask this. Are there new upgrades in pattern design for version 12?
Oh, yes, there certainly are. A couple that I mentioned have to do with the ability to track the stage of a model. It's work in progress stage, like it's in development or in grading. I also mentioned the ability to do easy alterations or providing for a wider variety of sizes in a size line, and that's with the ability to assign multiple grade rules to a single point. We've also really added some very powerful capabilities in the pattern wizard. So you can actually now create scripts for the wizard or macros, and you can call a script from within a script, and you can branch. So for example, I could have a pocket to draft a pair of shorts, and I can have it pause and say, well, what kind of pocket is this short going to have? Is it going to have an inseam bag pocket, or is it going to have a patch pocket? And depending on what you answer, it will branch off in different directions with additional macros or scripts. So there are a lot of new capabilities in version 12. We're very excited about it.
Fantastic.
And feel free to reach out if you'd like any specific information.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, it sounds like people have got some really specific questions. So the nice thing is you guys are available offline at any time, and obviously you can go online at the website you can see on your screen. But yeah, I can see there's a few people that have got questions that are quite specific to them, so that's great. Another question, how does AccuMark 3D recognize the virtual fit model's soft tissue profile? Does it match Alvinon's soft tissue construction of their physical forms?
So soft tissue is a very interesting area with regard to virtual fit. And our new team, Alvimetric, this is an area of R&D that they are looking into now. So it is the ability to display and account for soft tissue when doing simulations for fit is on our roadmap, and it's something we'll be excited to offer in the future.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, put you all on the spot a little bit. Someone's asked who should they email for any information. So is there a specific email address that folks can reach out to you on?
Absolutely. I'm happy to answer any questions on the subjects that we've talked today around AccuMark, and my email address is mary.mcfadden@gerbertechnology.com.
Yeah, so you can also find us all on LinkedIn, so that's another way to connect, and then we can route your questions the right way, depending on what they are.
Fantastic. Worst case, they can always come through to me and I'll happily pass them on. That's no problem at all. Okay, well, I think we've come to the end of the Q&A session now, unless anybody's got anything else burning that they'd like to ask. We've got through questions really well. So thank you very much for the really clear and concise answers that we've had today, and also for a great presentation, and share it with your colleagues or around your own business. If there's any questions that you have from that, you're welcome to put them through to, say, Mary or myself, or contact any of today's speakers through LinkedIn. And we hope you found it really useful and informative today. Thank you again to Mary, Clayton and Karsten and all the team at Gerber that have made this happen today. And thanks again for sharing your insights and knowledge with our audience. Goodbye to all our listeners today, and thanks ever so much for spending time with us. I know it's tough taking time out of your work day for something like a webinar, but hopefully you've all found it useful. Look forward to hearing from you all again. Thanks very much and goodbye.